इनका प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई करना होता है। और क्लाइमेट चेंज के इफेक्ट्स इतने रिमोट एरियाज में पहले डिटर्मन होते हैं कि उनको देखना फिजिकली जाके इम्पॉसिबल होता है। उसके केस में रिमोट सेंसिंग और GIS के जो टूल्स हैं वो हमारे लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल होते हैं। इस तरह डॉक्टर सैफुल्लाह साहब ने बताया कि ग्लेशियर्स की मूवमेंट है। थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर योर एक्सीलेंट कंट्रीब्यूशन। नाउ आई विल रिक्वेस्ट मिस्टर Hamid Nawaz Khan from Agriculture Extension Department, Islamic University of Bahawalpur.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hamid Nawaz Khan, faculty member, Department of Agriculture Extension Education, Islamic University of Bahawalpur. I have a lot of experience conducting the descriptive researches, having the interest, intention for the community mobilization, as well as the bringing awareness to bring the positive change in the attitude of the people, of the community. Since from the yesterday, we are listening about the scientific, technical researches related to climate change. But the question is still there. What is the attitudinal changes among the end users? We, the extension agents, we are the bridges between the research community and the application of the knowledge, so that in real sense we can boost up the economy of the country, livelihood of the people, as well as the psychological and the social well-being of the community. The topic for the presentation is a study on climate change awareness, environmental education, and gender role burdens. We understand that unless we cannot improve the awareness, knowledge, people are not able to practically implement the research conducted at the research institutions. So, environmental education is an education process designed to create the needed awareness, knowledge, skill and information about the human activities and their impact on the ever-changing environment. Education process is aimed at creating the needed awareness, skills, knowledge, attitude, as well as the values towards the environmental problems, creating the learner skills and willingness to work individually and collectively towards solving the environmental problems, working to avoid the creation of the new ones. As in the previous discussions, a question was raised by the student that we are conducting the researches, but how we can do our contribution towards this practice for the environmental change. This is the way that until and unless the knowledge, skills and the attitude is not improved among the community, it is impossible. From our perspectives, the cardinal duty of the environmental education is to create awareness about the already existing environmental problems and how to prevent the occurrence of the new ones. Environmental education can be defined as organized effort to teach about how natural environment function and particularly how human beings can manage their behavior in the ecosystem to life sustainability. It is also a process that allows the individuals to explore environmental issues, engage in the problem solving, and take action to improve the environment. As a result, individuals develop a deeper understanding of the environmental issues and have the skills to make informed and the responsible decisions. It is also organized effort to teach about how the natural environment function and particularly how human beings can manage their behavior and ecosystem to live sustainably. That is uniquely and slightly different from environmental sciences and environmental studies. There are three different types of terms: environmental studies, environmental sciences and environmental education. While the former is concerned with the identification, designing, collecting, analyzing and interpreting the empirical data, the latter is concerned with using the analyzed, the interpreted data to create the needed awareness to obtain by the former. As we have discussed, until and unless the interpreted and the descriptive studies are not understandable, easy to understand for the community, it is impossible for the positive change in the attitude. What are the key components of the environmental education? Awareness and sensitivity. The second one is the attitude of the concern. And the third one is the skills to identify and help. These components are focused for bringing the positive change in knowledge, attitude, intentions, collectively the behavior of the community. Based on these three components, environmental education seeks to pursue increased public awareness and knowledge about the environmental issues, to teach the individuals and groups critical thinking, to identify the environmental issues, their causes, the effects they have on the environmental and the human beings. Mitigation strategies are what can be done to solve the identified problems. It enhances the individual's problem solving and the decision making skills. Hence, environmental education is holistic in nature because it does not advocate any particular viewpoint about the nature. Next, what is the impact or relationship between the environmental degradation, climate change, and the individual gender roles and daily routine of the most of the rural households? They are influenced of the livelihood activities engaged in their daily routine. The burden of the food production from the rural agrarian activities as carried out by women has become even more pronounced in recent times, and their statutory roles are caregivers and mothers of the household. From the prehistoric times, women folks have been seen as mothers who are solely saddled with the duty of providing for the households. These roles are beginning to become compounded daily basis because of the increased burden inflicted on them by the changing climate conditions under which they carry out their daily livelihood activities in the agrarian rural societies. Scholars have suggested that both male and female are engaged in the agricultural production process at one point or the other. The men clear the thick forest land and bushlands and also proceed to till the mounds for planting of the food crops, their activities end here, while the women take over from weeding the farms, tending the crops, till the crops are mature for harvesting. During the harvesting process, men do the actual harvesting for the some crops, while the women carry the harvested crops home, prepare them for the storage, and do actual storage themselves. Their duties do not stop here. They do the harvesting of the food, including the cooking of the food for the family, washing and doing of the used dishes, fetching of water, bathing the younger ones. These are activities which are daily routine of the most of the rural women. Climate change is the effect which changing climatic conditions have brought on the environment and its resources to extent that these effects have influenced so many human activities negatively. The causes of the climate change: incomplete combustion of the fossil fuels, gasoline from the industrial chimneys and exhaust pipes, resulting in the release of the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, methane emission from the animal dungs, agricultural chemicals, pesticides, waste garbage, Arctic seabeds and the paddy rice fields. Deforestation, especially from the tropical wood for agriculture, pulp and the farmlands. Increased use of the agricultural chemicals, especially pesticides and other agrochemicals, bush burning among others. I skip the literature review and come on the research methodology. Using a cross-sectional survey method, because it is a descriptive study, so I have done it as a cross-sectional survey. A sample from the entire population of the study area of Bahawalpur district, Punjab, was selected, who were predominantly farmers, civil servants, agricultural science teachers, civil educationists and the health workers. Using the multi-stage sampling technique, a sample of the 100 respondents comprising both male and female were selected. The selection process was such that husbands and wives were selected from each compound in households where male and the female were widowed. They were also paired for the study. In all, a gender disaggregated sample of the 50 pair were selected for the study. Following research questions were made. Question 1. To what extent of the climate change awareness do the rural families of the study area have? Question 2. What is the gender role analysis of the some daily routine activities carried out by these rural farmers? Question 3. What is the difference in the workload burden of the impacts of climate change between men and women? Question 4. What are the strategies adopted by these rural farmers to mitigate the effects of change in their agricultural activities? Last question was, what roles can environmental education play in helping the rural farmers to design, adopt sustainable adoption and mitigation strategies to reduce or completely eradicate the vulnerability to climate change effects? Structured research tool was a structured interview schedule. A structured questionnaire titled Extent to Climate Change Awareness and the Roles of Environmental Education in Climate Change Prevention, Mitigation and Adoption questionnaire. The second instrument was the gender roles analysis and the scheduled activity burden checklist. The instruments were personally administered by the researcher and visited with the study area. Descriptive statistics, percentages, independent t-tests were used to analyze and present results from the analysis. Regarding the knowledge, research question number 1. What extent of the climate change awareness do the rural farmer of the study area have? There were 5 responses: very much, high, average, very minimal, and low. According to results, 11% were of the opinion they had very much information about the climate change from the environmental education. 18% of the respondents have high knowledge, and the average was 20%, while very minimal were 18% and low were of 33% of the total population. Substantial number of these farmers do not have any formal awareness about the climate change. Concerned about the sources of climate change awareness among these rural farmers, it was discovered that some got their awareness through the radio, television, handbills, and information bulletins. Others read through newspapers, news magazines, while some got information through public awareness created by some non-government organizations. Result is a confirmation of the studies conducted by Pendial, who in their study found that in most areas of the rural community, level of the climate change awareness, like every other environmental awareness, is dependent on the people's exposure to all programs of the activities geared toward creating the awareness. In the second research question, that was, what is the gender role analysis of the some daily routine activities carried out by these rural farmers? There were almost 28 daily routine activities, including the fetching of water, fetching of the fuel food, cooking of the food, carrying of the farms, cleaning of the mounds, planting of the other crops, weeding of the farms, mulching, stacking of the farm, tending of the farms, and bathing of the children, breastfeeding to the children by the mothers, taking care of the sick, compound sanitation, cooking, training of the children, carrying of the harvested crop to home, selling of the food crops in the markets, spending of the family money, collection of the children price, as well as taking family decisions. The results of the study is a confirmation of earliest finding of the Voluntary Act and others. That result found that using gender lens scope, women perform more activities in the agrarian communities as the men. Similarly, some positions have been conveyed by the Batman that traditionally women are assigned the responsibilities of producing the children and also feeding the family. Outside working long hours in the field, they must come back to cook cook the family meals and also care for the children, such as bathing them, feeding them, and also making sure that men of the house have also been fed. Third recent question was, what is the difference in the workload burden of the impacts of climate change between men and women? The question sought to examine if there is any significant difference between men and women in the burden of the work schedule in rural communities as a result of the climate change effects on agriculture. The answer to this question, men standard deviation, mean standard deviation and the standard error of the mean were computed to identify if there are any differences in workload burden between men and women in agrarian society. The independent simple sample t-test was applied to compare the groups between men and women, resulting as following.